Okay, Gloria, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Welcome, everybody, to the Upper Arlington Public Library Board of Trustees organizational meeting on this Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. We don't need a motion for the call to order, but I do need a motion on the 2021 meeting schedule resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. And we have all these, obviously, everybody knows, in the packet. It's our usual schedule for the trustees and the committee meetings. I should have said that before, probably. The next resolution we have is to appoint the fiscal officer and resolution for pay.
Gloria, if I could interrupt you on the resolution, the salary is incorrect. It should be 3626 rather than 3636. So we'll have to note that in the minute record.
Okay, it's 3626.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion for the resolution, which will be revised?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. And the next is the swearing in of the fiscal officer and the deputy, who is Beth. And Peter is going to issue that oath of office first to Lori and then to Beth.
Okay, we're doing one back to back.
Looks like that's the way we have to do it. Yes. Thank you, Peter.
All right, so Lori, last time we did this, you stood on top of your desk. You want to do
Yeah.
that? No?
Let me get on my chair and raise my hand.
All right, so why don't you raise your right hand? Repeat
Okay.
after me. I, Lori Pellegrini, do solemnly swear
I, Lori Pergolini, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as fiscal officer of the Library Board of Trustees
as fiscal officer of the Library Board of Trustees
in and for the said Upper Arlington Public Library,
in and for the said Upper Arlington Public Library,
Franklin County, Ohio.
Franklin County, Ohio.
I will serve to the best of my ability
I will serve to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and thereafter to be enacted
and thereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Next is Beth, I think.
All right, Beth, are you gonna stand on your desk or are you just gonna stay where you are?
Oh, so I'm right here.
All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Beth Hatch, do solemnly swear
I, Beth Hatch, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as Deputy Fiscal Officer of the Library Board of Trustees
as the Deputy Fiscal Officer of the Library Board of Trustees
in and for the said Upper Arlington Public Library, Franklin County, Ohio.
in and for the said Upper Arlington Public Library, Franklin County, Ohio.
I will serve to the best of my ability
I will serve to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect and thereafter to be enacted
and in accordance with the laws now in effect and thereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
during my continuance in said office and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
Great. Not quite as important as the oath that will be administered tomorrow at noon, but still important nonetheless.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Peter, and thank you to both Lori and Beth. The next resolution we have is for election of officers and committee appointments. And I just want to thank everybody for agreeing to serve again this year. So I guess now we need a resolution, an emotion, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. We also have included in this packet a roster of all the trustees. And I guess, is it not something we usually, I can't remember that we do this, but we don't want to have our addresses on there? Do we need them? I don't know. Anybody have a thought?
Do you know what's traditional, Allison?
We've been doing this as standard practice for all of our organizational meetings, as far as I can tell, but I can review that information and get back to you guys.
Okay.
This looks fair to me. I think this is usually what we approve, but I don't think we have to have our addresses in there. If somebody wants to.
Right. Okay, just wondered,
Yeah.
wondered.
I don't think we need them. I don't know. You can, Allison can research that, but as long as I've been a member, that they've been on the roster. So
Okay.
that's just a history.
Okay. Okay, and really, if anyone, I hope everybody checked to be sure that the information that's there is correct, or if you have a new number or anything, please let Allison know. Otherwise,
Excuse me, Gloria, one other question for Allison.
Okay,
I vaguely remember, and I don't know if it was on this or what else at the bottom, is when our terms expired was on someplace. So we, I don't know if that was on the roster in the past or not.
it is, I think, isn't it? It's there, opposite our names.
Okay, I haven't read that.
Last column, John. It's in the far right
Oh,
column.
there it is. Okay.
Yes. Okay, but that's good to mention, John, as well.
Wow. Long time yet.
Okay, if there are no other questions or concerns about the organizational meeting, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Okay, thank you, everyone. And now I will call to order the January regular board meeting. And I need a motion to pass the consent agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. I would just like to add my thanks to Tony Bolton for his service to the library. It sounds like he's been a valuable member of the staff, and I'm sure he will be missed. I don't know if you had anything to say, Beth, or anybody else.
Yeah, for those of you that didn't know Tony, he was part of our maintenance crew. And if for any of you who when the library was open would walk past my office, he was the one that would frequently decorate the little display out in front of my office. So he was a wonderful employee of the library, and we will definitely miss him. And we're hoping that when the library opens that we will see him again.
Great. Yes. Well, we do appreciate his service. If there are no other comments or discussion, all in favor of the resolution to pass the consent, or the motion to pass the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. I don't see any public, sadly. And I guess I'll move on to the Assistant Director's report. Kate?
All right, well, thanks, Gloria. Wanted to remind us all that the One Book, One Community event is actually this Sunday. You might have seen the article in the Dispatch highlighting Jason Reynolds. The talk is Let's Talk About Race. And we are participating with 8 other Central Ohio libraries. You can still participate if you haven't read the book. That's certainly okay. And you can sign up on our website. It's Sunday the 24th, 4 p.m. And he's a well-known author of youth and middle-age literature, but his book called Stamped Racism, Anti-Racism and You is the focus of the discussion. So we're looking forward to that. I know we've talked about it for months and months, and the day is finally here, and it's still not too late to register. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Okay, now we'll move on to Beth, your director's report.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. So first, I wanted to let you all know that the Miller Park branch is now offering walk-up service. So if you haven't had a chance to stop by, I think Kate had sent me some statistics that today alone, they've circulated over 100 items in one day. So we're very, very excited about that. And we're continuing curbside service at Main Library and walk-up service at Lane. So we are officially have all 3 of our locations are open. So very, very happy about that. The stay-at-home advisory is still in effect, and we do not have any plans on opening our facilities until we receive more information from other libraries in Franklin County, as well as the status of the stay-at-home advisory, whether it's extended or not. I did want to let you all know that we have a new webpage on our website, ualibrary.org/support. We realize that we want to be more proactive in garnering library advocates in the community. We have a lot of ways that patrons and community members can support the library through volunteering through the Friends, through donations, which I'll definitely share that information. But we also want to let everyone know that there's another way to support the library, and that's by becoming a library advocate. A library advocate is somebody who understands the value and the importance of the library in its community, understanding our funding, how the library is funded, and being able to advocate on our behalf. So we have on that webpage, ualibrary.org/support, there is a link to sign up for a new library advocacy newsletter that will be geared specifically towards our advocacy efforts, ways that anyone can help getting our message out and letting other people know what's happening with the library and our funding situation, our staffing situation. So we'll be doing that relatively soon. We also have an area on that site as well. We really want to hear from our community members on the value and the impact that the library has had in your life. If you are shared a story by a friend or a neighbor where they say, you know, we've heard frequently, the library is the one thing that's gotten me through this pandemic. We want to hear those stories, and there's a way to share your story with us. When you go to that page, it's the first thing that you see that says share your story. So we're really going to be trying to get the effort out for advocacy, understanding how the library has impacted our local community, as well as becoming a friend of the library and ways to donate to the library. So I wanted to share that with you and let you know that those are some of the things that we're working on.
Hey, Beth,
Yes,
I just had a question about that.
sure.
Will there be any coordination with efforts to do, there's probably like a library legislative days. With COVID, I don't know how they're doing it, but
I don't
is there any
know.
sort of coordination with something like that?
Yes, so we frequently go to the state for Legislative Day. I do not know if that is going to be happening this year. Ohio Library Council is usually the organization that sort of lets everyone know when, when to be there, when the date is. There's usually time where we schedule meetings with our legislators. That's information that we would share, as well as contact information with those legislators, and we'll be able to give that information to the public. So yeah, that's exactly right. Are there other questions about the advocacy page?
What was the address again?
ualibrary.org -support. It's the slash.
Got it. Great. Thank you.
Okay, no other questions. So I'll go through, I do have on my director's report about the strategic plan timeline, but I wanted to share that in a little bit more detail at the end after I go through a couple other things first, if that's okay. The first is our annual security policy resolution. This is the policy that we bring before the board every year. We don't have any changes in regards to our security policy, but this is something that we bring forward for you annually. Were there any questions about the security policy? Oh, Gloria.
Remind me of the page.
It is page 26.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's my director's report. It is page 28. Local
Okay.
library security policy approved by governing council in 2015. It's just a renewal of the annual policy, just to give you a chance to take a look at everything and see if there's any questions.
Okay. I know I didn't have any questions, but I somehow had lost it in the
That's okay.
couple of papers.
It's a big packet.
Yes. So thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I also wanted to share some information about our 2020 fundraising. We had an incredible year in regards to fundraising. We received over $66,000 in donations, which is about a 200% increase in what we had seen in 2019. Two of the major gives that we had solicited for last year. One was our direct ask campaign for the early learning play area in our youth department, and the big give, which is coordinated through the Columbus Foundation. Those two items alone, we received over $57,000. That was the majority of our donations for last year, and we're very happy to say that we do expect for construction to start, or installation to start in February for the early learning play area. And I wanted to personally thank the Upper Arlington Community Foundation, the UA and Tri-Village Rotaries, and the Friends of the Library. Those were significant donations that made this project possible. As soon as the project is installed, we're hoping to share more information. In your packet, you will see the donation letter that was sent out with images, the renderings of what the early learning play area will look like, with a little storybook cottage and a couple of interactives that will be there. As far as the big give, the 2020 big give was our most successful year. For 2017 and 2015, we received a little over $1,000. In 2020, we received almost $10,000, which was a significant jump. So again, just very incredibly grateful for the donations that we received this year. Any questions or comments in regards to our donations? We We will be sending, anyone who had donated to the library, correct me, Allison, if I'm misspeaking, will get a letter from the library with this information so that we can just show them all of the wonderful things that we're doing with the funds that we received.
There's no other questions. I just wanted to bring attention that we do need to vote on the resolution for the annual security policy.
Sorry.
Do you want me to call for that now, Beth, or do you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll do that.
Okay. Do I have a motion to pass the annual security policy resolution?
Move.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The annual security policy resolution passes. Thank you. I'm sorry, Beth, go ahead.
Okay, it's okay. I should have said something and I just kept going. So the next thing on my director's report is the annual and fourth quarterly staffing report. You should have a copy of that in your board packet. Fourth quarter vacancy rate at the end of year 2020, we have 22 vacant positions for a vacancy rate of 18.6%. Our fourth quarter turnover rate was 6%. This percentage was based upon 6 positions by resignation in the fourth quarter. And then you'll see the list of positions that are currently vacant. Annually, the 2020 annual turnover was 28.6%, which is slightly up from 2019. These were 24 positions by resignation. The majority of our staff that resigned, with 38%, about 9 of the staff members left due to the demands of another position, family, or school. This has been a very strange year. And so a lot of personal things going on in everyone's lives. And we had a lot of positions that, you know, that didn't stay. So they were all part-time with the exception of 3 full-time retirements. As far as staffing for this year, we are taking a cautious approach to recruitment and hiring in 2021. We will have a couple of positions posted, but they will be based on specific criteria, one-of-a-kind, unique type of positions that we cannot run operations without. And as we get into the second quarter, we will present the first quarter staffing report at that time and share with you our strategy for hiring for the rest of the year at that time as well. Were there any questions about the staffing report?
No, I think that's a smart approach.
We know that the public library fund is tenuous, even though, you know, certain numbers are looking up, you know, we still are looking at an 11% estimated loss in the public library fund. So we have to be very careful in regards to hiring. And we'll be taking a look at each position individually before we make that decision. Thanks, Kate. Finally, you'll be very happy to know that we have finalized an operational plan for strategic plan for the first part of data analysis and measurement. We've worked with Benefactor. Benefactor has helped us through this process, and we have a timeline and goals for the entire year 2021. So to refresh all of our memories, the first part of our strategic plan that we're going to tackle is our data analysis and measurement. Basically, we're going to be doing an audit, taking an inventory of all of the data that the library collects, which is significant, figuring out are we collecting all the data that we need? Are we collecting it in the most efficient way? Is there data that we're not collecting that we should? And basically collecting all of that information. The survey will go out to staff. They will fill out the survey with all of the data that they're responsible for collecting, including questions like, why are we tracking this? Where does the information live? How is it collected? Who's responsible for it? Who owns the data? And who is the audience? Who's this for? A lot of data we collect for the state report, but a lot of data we just collect internally for our own benefit. After we collect the data inventory, we will meet and review all of the data, and then administration will be responsible for creating committees in order to review that data and basically create their own data plan in regards to that specific set of data points. It could be by department, it could be by circulation, and that involves all 3 of our locations. So those are some of the things that we're going to be working through. I'll be presenting to staff at the end of February, reminding them of the strategic plan and explaining why we have a strategic plan, and helping them through the process and getting them prepared for the work that they're going to be doing. Once the survey results are collected and consolidated, I will meet with all of the staff that are on those committees that we've appointed to those committees, and establishing those guidelines for how they should work through those meetings. At the end of this, what we hope to accomplish, that our goal is to have a data analysis plan. What is the data that we need to collect? How should we collect it? Who's responsible for collecting it? Where will it live? What is it used for? How often should it be updated? And we will have opportunities, considering all of our other areas in our strategic plan, as far as marketing and communications and use of space and customer impact. There's a lot of data points that we're not currently collecting that will influence those future areas of strategic plan. So we have an entire timeline I can share with you, and very excited to get this started. Are there questions? Anything you want me to go into any more detail?
Beth,
Yes, Bill.
how and when do you see the board being involved? I don't mean the board in terms of micromanaging, but the value of this process is a give and take back and forth.
Absolutely. So after the data inventory is collected, and we will have hopefully have the results of the final inventory by the end of first quarter, those results would then be shared with the board. So you would be able to see the results of everything that we had collected, and share with you the committees and our goals for what those committees will be set to accomplish in the future.
Beth, one thing that might help is on the timeline, and my printer died when I was printing it, so I feel your pain, Gloria. So it might be is where to put on the timeline where you want board involvement or anything that we can recognize when we see that.
So I think if you have suggestions on where you would like to be involved as a board, I would love to hear that. Bill, so if you have ideas on would you like to be able to review the data that comes in through the inventory survey and ask questions, or have your own input on that?
Okay. The one thing I'm thinking of, and this is just a thought to think of, and I think taking inventory of what we're doing is important, but the other side of this, and you've implied it, but we need to be careful we make sure we do it, is what our strategic needs are should drive the information rather than the other way around.
Absolutely.
A lot of bureaucracies, what drives the information is the bureaucratic process, right, instead of the strategic needs.
Exactly. And that's where the other pieces of strategic plan, those data points, those are some things that we're not collecting. And so we are going to have a separate set of, it's almost like a separate inventory of what are we not collecting, and why do we need to be collecting it? And a lot of that will be focused on strategic plan. These are the goals that we're trying to reach through our strategic plan, and we can't get there without these data points. That's why we started with data analysis and measurement first, even though we had originally had it at the end, because we knew that those other parts of the strategic plan won't be able to be accomplished without the information in the beginning.
Sounds good.
Good.
Well, I do agree that, there is a point where, the board, probably the trustees, should have a chance to weigh in on some of these things, at least to just see what you're finding and that sort of thing. Certainly, since we're looking at a levy, a lot of this is going to help us with that too. And I guess, as we collect things, and or decide what else we need to collect, I guess along the same lines that Bill has indicated, we need to have a reason for why we need to do.
Exactly.
Beth, in that spirit, let me make a suggestion. As you develop that timeline, think of two parts where the board obviously should be involved in the end in terms of approving something. But between the end part and the beginning should be an interim part where the board isn't approving anything. It's designed to be give and take. And a session is devoted to that. Does that make sense?
I do. And I have that scheduled for June.
Okay.
As far as a strategic topic is to review the results of the data priorities and get board input at that point.
Good.
And maybe I've totally missed this somewhere, Beth, but that timeline, as you get it solidified, you're gonna share that with all of?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just met with Benefactor last week and got some of these things. We had some questions and things that we wanted to work out. And so I just finished that document and I can share that with the board.
Actually, that gives me an idea, like this one on. Then think of the board touching this and this touching the board 3 times. One is the preliminary when you set up the timeline.
Okay.
Everybody's on board on that. Then this interim give and take thing in June.
Okay.
And then the final, when the final, whatever it will be.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, good. Thank you, Bill. Thanks, Beth. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Now.
So that's it for me.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that we're, getting to get started on this. And I know everybody's been interested in seeing it proceed. And all of us are eager to help you in any way that we can, I think. So thank you for all that you've been doing on all of these issues. Okay, next, I think we have the Finance Committee report. And Lori, do you want to?
I'll start.
Jump in here.
Okay. As you can see by my fiscal officer report on page 39, we did end the year financially sound, given all the uncertainty and ups and downs that we did go through in 2020. A good sign for 2021 so far is that the PLF for January did come in higher than expected. We hope that continues. It was almost 6% higher than what we had anticipated. I am currently I requested tax advances from the county auditor on our settlement. So I did receive the first advance of $75,000. We will be receiving one each week for the next 7 weeks, and the amount will just depend on what the collections are. By getting this advance, I'm not having to tap into Star Ohio to cover our operating expenses. I want to keep that balance intact, and if we do receive a large sum, which I anticipate as we go on and in the next month, I'm going to put that money in Star Ohio. Anyone have any questions or anything regarding the finances? Okay, Kevin, if you want to go over the minutes for the Finance Committee.
Sure. Thanks, Lori. The Finance Committee met last Wednesday, and it was, I would characterize it as a pretty routine meeting. We went over the results for 2020, which, as Lori just mentioned, were good. Believe it or not, our revenues were actually 1% higher than we expected in 2020 with everything that was going on. And with some of the cost saving measures that were put in place, we actually ended up about 20% better than where we were last year. So results on the financial side. We also looked at the investment report for the library, and nothing really there. As you might imagine, everything is very low risk. We have our operating accounts, and then our excess cash is at Star Ohio, which pays a little bit better interest rate, although still not great these days. But everything is in good shape as far as the investments are concerned as well. So that was about it for our meeting.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Or, I mean, I'm thrilled that, you know, we're financially sound and, you know, have months worth of operating money. And I guess we'll just have to see how the year plays out. And we really don't know what the legislature will do with the PLF either, and won't know. I'm sure the Ohio Library Council is watching that and working on that as we speak. And, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
That will drop in July unless they do pass something.
Right, right. Mhm. And, you know, certainly if there's anything, as this proceeds, if there's anything, Beth, that we can help by, you know, calling our representative and senator or anything that you think we should do, please don't hesitate to ask us.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. The operations committee did not meet in December or January, so I think we're good there. And let me see. I think are we pretty good on that? On everything else? I would just like, as part of my report or comments or whatever, I really am thrilled with this information you're doing on the fundraising and sending a letter. I think it's a great idea. I know that people who donate do appreciate it, not only because it gives them tax information, but, you know, they like to know that their donations are appreciated. And I mean, we continue to have just, you know, for whatever reason, wonderful donations from people in the community. So I'm always really thankful for that. And I think it says a lot about how much people care about supporting the library. And I also am very happy with the new website advocacy idea. I think that's terrific. And, you know, you might just, I mean, we can all look at it, obviously, but you might just every now and then, Beth, share some of that with us, what you see.
Absolutely.
You know, in case we forget to look or whatever. And I don't think we have anything else unless someone else wants to add something. I know people are thrilled that Miller's open. Not just Stephen, but I've heard from lots of people who were just so excited to be able to go there and get packets for their kids and all kinds of things. So,
and they're doing a personalized service. So if you go to the branch and you say, I'd like, you know, books on a certain topic, or I'd love fiction, you know, psychological thriller or something like that, they'll run back into the stacks and they'll pull things for you. They have the ability to do that as a smaller location. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm thrilled. I'm sure your staff is happy to be back there too. I, you know, commend you, all of you, for making that work. Our next board meeting will be on Tuesday, February 16th at 5 o'clock via Zoom. And unless anyone has anything else they want to contribute, or questions or whatever, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?